not embarrassed as black women in those Tyler Perry comments? Because personally,
I'm not going to yell in this video because I don't think I need to. But what I am going to say is this. It makes sense as a man for Tyler Perry to care about the loneliness of other men, specifically black men, because that is what he is. So it makes sense that he care about their loneliness. That's not my problem. And I don't think that's the problem of other black women, because it shows clearly that more and more black women care less and less. The problem is when you see how they are being seen as lonely because they can't afford anything, you tell them by telling us that it's okay to date somebody who can only pay probably the least expensive bill in the house. Tell them that it's okay. You're trying to convince black women back into being okay with below the underbelly of the bottom of the bare minimum. That is what you're telling them, because now men are feeling lonely. Black men are feeling lonely. However, when black women were in the same economic predicament, and a lot of us actually, due to the way inflation is, probably still are in that predicament. Let's be for real, right? But when black women made it the majority of women who are in that predicament, you didn't sit there and tell men to do that. I don't care if he didn't reach the tax bracket he's at now. He was in the same tax bracket that he wants these men to feel okay with being in. You didn't tell black women that it's okay if you can barely pay this. You're doing your best. You still deserve love and affection, and you still deserve someone to care about you and love you for the rest of your life and feel safe and feel supported. You didn't tell black women that when we were in the same tax bracket struggles. What you did was monetize off of a black woman's struggle. It wasn't even about trying to convince black women to settle for the last 30 years, hence why you didn't change your script. You didn't try to convince black women to stay in bad situations. You just let everybody else who was not black know how we deal with men in our community and how we accept every old thing because we're told we're going to be lonely for damn ever. That's what you did. I suggest you go watch the rest of that video. But I need black women to start from now, because a lot of the times we will support, and this is what I need you to stop real quickly. We like to support people just because they're black. We'll support men just because they're black. We'll take any advice or anything they give us just because they're black, and we want to support black people because we're all we got. We are not all we have. Black women don't even have that much to begin with. I need black women to stop supporting somebody just because they're black. I need you to stop doing that. I know you're used to everybody else making it about race when it comes to us. So now we make it about race to compensate for the fact that they're not going to stop. But when it comes to genuine advice that affects your life from here onward to the future until you're no longer alive, stop accepting advice from any old person. Because the comments I'm seeing under IG and TikTok are horrendous from black women that agree to just take what you can get just because of the economic situation. Do not do that. Because the pandemic has shown how angry black men can get when they have to be stuck with someone that makes them feel like they should put more effort than they're putting. Because the pandemic is where that 4-hour statistic came from. It used to be 18 hours. The pandemic put a whole lot of black women in positions where they were stuck with the men in the household. So now you actually get to live with the person you're in a relationship with. And boy, oh boy, oh boy, are a lot of y'all not here right now because you accepted the bare minimum because you were stuck with it for 2 years. Like she said in that video, no other group of men tell their women to settle. A lot of times they don't expect the women to settle, so they'll try to put them in a position to where they don't have a choice. A lot of women from across the world are talking about how their men ain't shit now. You see that across the world. They're talking about how their men are terrible. But one thing I do notice statistically is that their men excel because they know they have to excel for those women. Yet black women are told to stick with what they have in front of them because it's there. Race loyalty has y'all taking anything you can get. You know those little dregs at the bottom of your cup from after you drink coffee or hot chocolate or tea or some kind of drink, and you got nothing but the dregs left and nobody drinks those things? They throw them in the sink or throw them in the trash because they're not supposed to be ingested. They are what settles at the bottom of your cup. Do not settle for what's at the bottom of your cup. If it hits the base of your cup, it's not supposed to be ingested. When you see something at the bottom, you do not grab for something at the bottom. You grab for what's at the top, or you stay where you're at. You do not go below what you want. You do not compromise your standards to avoid loneliness. And black women are the only ones that are told, not just by men, but by other black women, to do that. This is why I say stop using blackness as an excuse to accept any and every black person's advice. Because a lot of y'all are taking advice that's going to put you in a really bad position. Because to avoid loneliness, you should take whatever you can get. This man more so actually insulted other black dudes than women. Women, we are used to hearing as black women that we have to settle and stick with what's there. And if you don't take this, you're going to miss out on a good man because he doesn't have money. How good of a person are you when you can't even be self-sufficient? I'm not at the tax bracket that Tyler Perry's at, but I promise you, I can take care of my damn self. I can pay all my bills. I can keep my house clean. I can cook when I need to cook. I can do what I got to do. I go run my errands. I maintain my life and I maintain my household. And every woman has to do that anyway because nobody's going to help us out. So why do I have to settle for someone who cannot do that? And that is the bare minimum to be a functioning member of society. We haven't even hit relationship status yet. I'm also very confused at how this man became a relationship expert. Who deemed him a relationship expert? It must have been somebody with a penis or somebody who's male-centered because he's a movie director, an actor, and the owner of BET. And I don't even think he completely owns BET because last time I saw an article about how he didn't finish the payment. So he didn't even get that far. You're taking advice from somebody who used to be in the tax bracket of men he is speaking of for you to settle with, that is now in the tax bracket to be able to afford paying the light bill of every single person in the United States of America, black or not, for the next 50 years. That's what you're listening to. Somebody who has a partner, regardless of what kind of relationship status she has with him, that doesn't have to worry about the light bill. Like, his house is so big, this guy has a landing strip for a private jet to land right in front of his house. With maybe about half an acre in between his house and the landing strip for the jet. Like, why are you listening to... Stop listening. You need to stop listening to black guys. You need to stop listening to them because they're the main ones that are going to tell you to settle. It is embarrassing to see black women agree with this and then try to convince other black women to do this. Settling is not doing anything but putting you in a position to miss out on opportunities where you can find somebody at your level or higher. We are no longer even the face of baby mama drama. We're not even the face of that no more. You got other non-black women that really thought that we missed out on a good guy just because he didn't have any money or prospects. And here they are being the new face of baby mamas because they thought that they could be better, because they thought they were special. And they settled. You're not going to settle for an education. You're not going to settle when it comes to your education. You're not going to settle for a job. You're not going to settle for the way you look, the way you want to feel. You're not going to settle for opportunities out in the world. So why will you settle in relationships? I need you as black women to do better. And I'm mainly talking to the ones that will actually listen to this kind of advice and the advice of other black women saying the same thing. I need you to do better. I need you to do better for yourself, but I also need you to do better for other black women and girls that are coming up. Because it seems like black women don't want to do better romantically for themselves. So how about you do better romantically for other people? For other black women in particular. Because no other woman would dare think of agreeing with settling with foolishness. So why are you? You have enough emotional management and emotional, I don't even know how to describe it. You have enough intelligence or social intelligence when it comes to the way you look and feel as a black woman in society. You need to have that same emotional intelligence and execution in your relationships. I need you to meet yourself where you stand and have standards and don't lower them, because this is embarrassing. You know what I'm